Hi, my name is Debbie, and I am obsessed with all things to do with ultrasound. I'm an empty nester who has spent the last 28 years scanning in all different kinds of situations: clinics, hospitals, point of service, emergency departments, private offices, echo, vascular, general, high risk OB, and want to dive down deep into all things to do with technology, techniques, and transformation. It's time we take ultrasound to the next level. Think of this like your little power boost on your commute to all things ultrasound, along your way to the thing that we call work. So pull up a seat, make sure you're comfy, and be ready to be challenged and encouraged as we learn it's all about the frequency. Today's podcast is talking about building an unshakable self-confidence. As I've gone all throughout the United States as a traveling ultrasound tech, I've noticed a theme from ultrasound techs of wanting to have more confidence. And so I thought I would talk about that today on the podcast. Since our podcast covers technology, techniques, and transformation, I think confidence is one of those transformations that we see over the course of time, and it's subtle. But I think there's a faster way to get there and a better way to get there. And I have some clues on good ways for you to build that unshakable self-confidence. So first, let's talk about what is confidence. Confidence is a belief in our own abilities, our qualities, and our judgments. It's more than just a feel-good thing. It's about trusting our skills and taking action. Why is confidence important? Well, I think as ultrasound techs, we can figure that out pretty quick, right? If we walk into the doctor's office and we're signing off to our doctor and like, well, I don't know. I don't know what I'm seeing. I'm not sure exactly. I think it's this. I think it might be right lateral, but when I turn my transducer, then I start to think it's maybe not right lateral, but maybe left lateral or whatever. And so, as you can tell, the doctor senses that you're not real confident about what you've just done. And that makes a huge impact for us as ultrasound tech. So why is it important? It's extremely important for us to have confidence in what we're doing, how we're seeing it, what we're seeing, when we're seeing it, so that we can then verbalize our confidence and show our confidence to the physician when signing off. So it's essential for our success as ultrasound people. But individuals lacking confidence kind of are going to have a hard time in this field, right? So we want to figure out ways that we can build quick confidence in ourselves. Having good confidence will boost motivation and it helps us to overcome our setbacks, right? It contributes to a happier and more fulfilling life. There's kind of a ripple effect to confidence, right? In your personal life, it improves your relationships. It gives you a better self-esteem and you feel overall happier, right? If I'm in a personal relationship with a family member and there's a disagreement and we've overcome disagreements before, I'm pretty confident that we're going to get over this, right? That we're going to be able to work through this, or that I myself have worked through conflict with other people successfully. And so I have that belief that I can work through difficult people situations, right? So I have that self-esteem. I have that confidence in my personal life. In my professional life, it could be working things out with a coworker or a manager, or it could help to open doors of opportunities or leadership roles in the places that you're working. But there are a few myths about confidence. So one of the myths of self-confidence is that some people believe that you're born with confidence. And I don't believe that at all. I believe that you really work for confidence, that it's something that you make a decision to and you step into this confidence. I think confidence is a skill that can be developed and strengthened over the course of time. So I think there's a difference between confidence and self-esteem. I think those are two different issues that it's important to differentiate. Self-confidence is a belief in your abilities to perform a task, and your self-esteem is your overall sense of value or worth. I know coming into a high-risk maternal fetal medicine department that I can bring some value or worth to their department. But I also have the confidence to know that I will be able to perform whatever they need me to perform for their lab. Just a small difference, but a big impact and that understanding of those two different things. So why does self-esteem matter? Well, self-esteem is kind of the foundation for confidence, right? Having a good self-esteem is crucial for having good confidence. So, what is self-esteem? Self-esteem is just accepting yourself, really, accepting your strengths and your weaknesses. I'm really good at this part of my responsibilities. I have a weakness over here on this part, right? I can do echoes really well. It stresses me out to do a stress echo, right? So you have certain responsibilities in your department that you're really strong at. And there's other responsibilities in your department. I don't really like this exam because I'm not all that confident or comfortable with that exam, right? So self-acceptance is kind of, or self-esteem is kind of that building block, right? To good confidence. Now, the opposite could be true as well. Having a low self-esteem could give you less confidence, right? So having negative self-talk or harsh internal criticism, I have some friends and we say to each other sometimes when we catch each other, compare will give you despair, right? So whenever you're comparing yourself unfavorable against someone else, you're going to get down. You're going to be despaired, right? Or if you have a fear of failure, then you're going to avoid challenges and risk. I don't want to go to the ICU, right? That's scary to me. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to avoid it, right? Because you're afraid of that environment or that type of exam or having to give those kind of results with the doctor standing over your shoulder, possibly. All these different things. Some of the causes for low self-esteem it's just past failures and criticism, comparing yourself to others, especially on social media. That's another topic. Don't get me started on that one. Negative influences, spending time with negative people or people who don't build you up or encourage you to grow. The people you surround yourself with are who you're going to become like, right? So, I encourage you to really be careful who you spend your time with or what friends you choose to hang with at work and at home, because that will definitely tell you the trajectory of your life. So there is a link between self-esteem and confidence, right? We've kind of established that as your self-esteem goes down, so your confidence goes down. Or as your self-esteem rises, so your confidence rises, right? So this relationship to each other are kind of intertwined. So having a strong self-esteem can kind of empower you to act very confidently, even in unfamiliar situations, right? Because you've navigated all these other challenging situations previously. Why could you not navigate this new challenging opportunity set before you, right? So these are the thoughts that you start to have after you start building a good, strong self-esteem as, well, even though this might be a little bit different, I think I can be able to handle it. I'll figure this out, right? And you're willing to accept failing to move forward. So there's some things that you can do to start building your confidence. We can start practicing positive self-talk. We can we can have positive affirmations you put on your mirror, or you write on your mirror, or you stick in your pocket to remind yourself at lunch. You can start challenging your negative thoughts and replace those negative criticisms and thoughts with positive. You can treat yourself with compassion and be kind to yourself. Well, that's okay. I did the best I could with where I was at and what I did. It wasn't the prettiest, but I got us through it, right? I didn't miss any information. I can do better next time. Now let me look at this or evaluate this and see what can I do that better or different to make it better. Setting achievable goals. This was really important for me to set small goals. So I did, when you're first learning ultrasound, you do this, right? The clinical instructors have you start out just small. Let's just do something one structure at a time. Just scan the gallbladder, right? Or just scan a kidney, right? So start small, a manageable goal. For me personally, a personal goal for me to want to exercise every day, I did 10 minutes. I set a timer and I ran up and down my stairs in my house for 10 minutes and I exercised. I gave myself credit or kudos for exercising for that day. And soon that built up into me running several half marathons. So starting small is incredibly important. I wouldn't overlook that because that really kind of helps get your momentum and giving yourself the credit, like, okay, I did it. All right, I set my shoes out and my clothes out. I put them on. Okay, that's what I did for the morning. I started to go exercise. I did squats for 5 minutes. I did jumping jacks for 10 minutes, right? I did something was better than doing nothing. And I affirmed that in myself every day. So the same can happen for ultrasound in the ultrasound field. We'll just scan the gallbladder. Okay, we'll just do the pancreas. Okay, we're just going to look at a kidney. We start small until we feel comfortable enough to do larger exams, bigger exams, more anatomy, more structure. And then we need to celebrate the success, acknowledge and reward our achievement. This was huge for me. And when I was younger and trying to build more of a positive self-esteem, I kept a journal and I called it a 54321 journal. Now, this is unlike Mel Robbins 54321 shoot out of bed like a rocket, right? Um, or high five method or anything like that. But I would every day, I didn't like to journal because it wasn't structured. I didn't have certain thing to do and I didn't have unlimited time to journal. And so I did 54321. 5 things I did well that day. 4 things. Let me see if I can remember what I did. Oh, I'm sorry. 5 things I'm grateful for. 4 things I did well. 3 things that I saw beauty in or that I appreciated throughout the day. 2 things that I could have done better. And 1 thing I would tell myself about that day. And I actually talked to the little girl inside me. So when I was younger, I had a nickname called Little Debbie. And so whenever I'm trying to encourage myself, I often call myself Little Debbie. And I tell Little Debbie, hey, you did well today. You hung in there. It was a tough day. You hung in there, but you did it. Great job, Little Debbie. You did your 10 minutes of exercise or whatever it was. Or you get so happy, you high five your clinical instructor because you scan the whole right upper quadrant, right? You have to celebrate those small accomplishments. You high five yourself because you didn't say something bad about the supervisor at lunchtime, or you walked away from a conversation you knew wasn't going to be positive, or you got to give yourself credit for those things because that reinforces your self esteem, which then increases your self-confidence. But I cannot tell you or emphasize enough of talking to yourself positive. This has transformed my life. So another way that you can build your confidence and self-esteem is by stepping outside your comfort zone. Now, we do this a lot when we are ultrasound students, but sometimes after you become an ultrasound student, you're like, well, I'm kind of bored. I'm kind of stuck, right? I've kind of been doing this for a while. What now? And I would encourage you to just get curious. Be curious. What's one thing I could do that would challenge myself? Would it be to write an article? Would it be, oh, I did a really interesting case. Maybe I should research that a little bit more and write an article, submit it to SDMS. That might be new for me. But to face your fears, right? Oh, this is kind of scary. I don't know about it, right? And taking baby steps toward those things that are really unfamiliar to you. So stepping outside of your comfort zone is huge. And we need to do it not just when we're learning ultrasound in the beginning, but after we've had 2 or 3 or 4 years, and then after we've been scanning for 20 years, right? Always trying to challenge ourselves to move forward, to go just one more step further, to maybe your challenge is to go to an STMS conference. I haven't been to one in a while, and I went last year for the first time. And let me tell you something, that will encourage you, that will challenge you. You'll be around so many people with so much information that are sitting there just waiting to help or mentor someone in their field. And I think it's just such a gift to invest in yourself professionally in order to be around these other people who are maybe just one step above where the level you're at, or might be able to open up your eyes or ideas of more things to do or more people to get to know, so that they can encourage you, right? So you want to broaden your horizons with friendships and different people who are doing different things that you may want to do, that they may encourage you to do along with them. The next thing I want to talk about is developing self-efficacy. It's belief in your ability to succeed. So you manage your thoughts, your feelings, and your behavior, right? To build that belief of your success. You set progressively challenging goals and you practice mastering those beliefs and those goals. And you start surrounding yourself with people who have done those things. And you start to think, oh, if they can do it, I guess I can do it too. And I think I might do it a little different, right? The other huge practice that I have started that has been super helpful is practicing gratitude. Gratitude has been a game changer. Focusing on the positive, appreciating what you have, understanding it could be worse, knowing you'd like for it to get better, nothing wrong with that. Keeping a journal and writing things down that you're thankful for. My 5 4 3 2 1 journal was a huge game changer for me. 5 things I was grateful for every day. 4 things I did well in an area that I was trying to grow myself in. 3 things that I thought were beautiful that day, whether it be a father holding his son, or a flower, or the rain, or the sunshine, or the mountains, or anything that you saw that you felt, hey, that just really touched my heart. That was a beautiful thing. 2 things that I might have done a little bit different. And then 1 thing I tell myself about that day, or to encourage myself for that day. Again, supportive network. This is the next step to helping build increased, unshakable confidence. You surround yourself with people that you want to become like. You get to know them. You reach out to them. You touch base with them, right? You seek encouragement and support from them. You share your challenges, and you open up and to these trusted individuals and talk about your struggles or your fears, or what to do next, or how to handle this challenging situation, or that. right? Your network will propel you forward faster than anything else that you ever do. Next is improve your body language. Recently, a friend of mine challenged me to get a hanging bar and hang from the bar. And it has really helped my posture with my shoulders and my back. And it helps me to stand tall. And I stand when I scan so that I'm not hurting my back anymore. I feel better when I'm standing tall and my back is aligned. I make better eye contact because I'm not slumped over and not looking down. I'm looking up. I can walk and convey myself non-verbally as in very confident gesture. I walk confidently. I present myself confidently. I also believe in dressing for success. Now, this is kind of old school, I believe, teaching recently, but I think it has so much to do. I learned this lesson from my grandmother, and I'll tell you what, she didn't have a lot of money, but she looked like $1,000,000. She always had her lipstick on before she left the house. She never wore blue jeans. This was the era where they didn't do that. Although I do remember one day she wore designer blue jeans and a white blouse to go work in her garden. And I about flipped a lid. I was a teenager thinking, you're going to wear designer jeans to work in your garden. I've never seen my grandmother wear a pair of jeans in my life, but that's what she was going to do. But she always looked impeccable when she left the house. She might not have felt good, but she always looked good. And her eyebrows were painted on or drawn on. They weren't painted on in those days. They were drawn on. And so sometimes they were crooked or half of one was gone because she wiped her eye and wiped half of it off or something like that. She was so precious. Um, I miss her terribly, but she's the one who taught me not to leave the house without feeling somewhat put together. And I have always done that. My kids now even tease me, Mom, can you not put your mascara on before we leave? Nope, I've got to at least have that, my eyeliner and mascara on before I leave the house, right? I need to do something to make myself feel presentable to the outside world. And when we're talking about professionalism, so many of us nowadays just roll out of bed. I'm guilty as one, but roll out of bed, throw our wrinkled scrubs on and show up to work, right? Throw our hair back up in this messy bun and here we are, right? As opposed to, I feel like the success for the day starts the night before. I have my lunch packed, I have my breakfast made, I have my clothes, I know what scrubs I'm wearing, they're clean, they're hanging up. I've got everything laid out so that when I get up, all I have to do is wash my face, brush my teeth, put my makeup on, and everything's laid out, ready to go. But I'm set up for success. So for me, success starts the night before. So I challenge you or I encourage you to take care with what you're wearing or how you're wearing it or how you present yourself to work. I always thought it was kind of funny. Girls would come to work and they're beautiful without any makeup. And there's no rules to say that you have to wear makeup, right? That's certainly not what I'm saying. But they would just roll out of bed, throw their hair up in a messy bun, and throw some clothes on and show up, right? And then I'd see them out and they've got their makeup nicely done, very tastefully, and they're dressed really cute. And they present themselves quite a bit different when they're out for entertainment reasons as opposed to professionally. And I know that beyond a shadow of a doubt, they would feel better about themselves professionally if they took a little bit more time to take care of themselves in the morning, to present themselves to more people than they would see going for coffee on a Saturday morning, right? So dressing for success or getting yourself ready or presentable for the day to other people, I think is a huge boost in your confidence. of feeling, okay, I'm ready to present myself to the world. This is how I want to present myself to the world. This is how I want to show up. This is how I want them to feel as though I got ready for them. I knew they were coming. I wanted to present my best self to my patient, to my coworkers, to my managers. I want to show up as the best me every day. Another way to gain confidence is to gain knowledge and skills. So continually being prepared. In high risk OB, I think that's really a huge game changer. Is, are you prepared? Have you looked up your patients ahead of time? Do you know what their history is, or how they can come forward, or what they're coming to you with and for, and being prepared for that, right? Oh, they've had 8 pregnancies. They don't have any babies. They're going to be pretty anxious, right? I wouldn't know that if I didn't prepare. So I think preparation is vital to having confidence of knowing how to take the best care for that patient, right? And being open and willing to learn. I love the fact that every patient is different, every situation is different, and I have to be ready for whatever that may be, right? And be willing to learn. Come to it as a learner, right? I'm willing to be curious about different things and find out new ways to do things, or more understanding about a certain situation or disease process. Again, celebrate your strengths, right? Focus on what you do well. Utilize your skills and your ability. Build on your strength, but celebrate those, right? I know this is what I do well. I show up on time. I prep for my patients for the day, and I'm ready. I know I do that well. And tell yourself that. Give yourself that credit. Also, maintaining and sustaining confidence. So, I was listening to Jenna Kutcher on a training, and she had read an author, and I apologize, I don't remember who the author was, on confidence. And she said, men's confidence is a vertical climb, but females' confidence, there's an increase and then a dip, and then an increase and then a dip, and then an increase and then a dip. So there's a little volatility with females' confidence. So I think that's a good way to set up an expectation for ourselves of, okay, today, and I remember this starting out early in ultrasound. Today was a good day. I felt good about all my patients. But there were some days I'm like, oh, this was a rough day. Why did I struggle so much? Right? When I was first starting out, like, I had some really good days, but then every now and then I'd have like a really tough day, right? And not so much maybe after years of experience, but maybe your confidence is not so much with scanning, but maybe with something else, right? A different skill that maybe you're learning to write an article for SEMS. Maybe you're learning to mentor someone else and you're learning skills on how to mentor people, right? Maybe you're learning leadership skill, having to give yourself grace and know and understand that the expectation for women learning or growing in confidence can be a little bit of an up and down for a little while. Another habit that has been helpful is mindfulness and meditation, managing your negative emotions and reducing stress and anxiety, being self-aware, understanding your thoughts and emotions, right? I love going to work out after work because working out for me is like a meditation. It just helps me get rid of all the anxiety and the stress, and I get just relief, right? I get a sense of letting go of the anxiety of the day or the stress of the day. And that cadence of running or walking or whatever I'm doing is helpful in a meditation for myself. I can just get on the elliptical and I can just not have to think about anything, right? Put some tunes in my ears and the stress just disappears, right? The anxiety. And just being aware of when you are stressed or when you're tired or when you've been challenged or when you're kind of getting to your limit, right? Those being self-aware is also a huge skill that you develop throughout life as your life is changing all the time, right? You might have self-awareness because you're in school and getting your certifications and taking your board exams and different things like that. And then you start your first job and you get some experience behind that. But then now you're married and that's stressful, right? Getting married, planning a wedding, being married your first year, that's sometimes can be stressful. And then you're starting a family, right? So it might not all be work related, but it can be related to your personal life enough that we need to be mindful of it so that we can practice our meditation, right? And to get rid of some of that stress. So, living a healthy lifestyle and healthy life habits. As I've gotten older, these have become more and more important. And recently, they've become even more important to me as I've developed a lot more challenges on the health field of life. But having healthy nutrition and exercise can boost my energy and my mood and my mindfulness and my meditation. Having good sleep, this is vital. The older I get, but even younger, I can tell this in younger kids, well, they're younger to me, 26, 21, right? You're an adult, but to me, you're a kid. But having good sleep is essential for being able to show up as the best you for everyone at work and all of your patients. So that is vital. And then knowing when to ask for help. I know this is your ego talking. You don't need it. I don't want it. I don't like it. But talking to a trusted friend or a family member or asking for help from one of them. And if they're not helping you the way that you feel like you need, then getting professional help, finding a counselor, um, someone who can support you and that you can benefit from, right? Have someone outside with a non-biased judgment or view on life, have them weigh in on what's going on in the world for you and see if their point of view may make sense to you. The next thing I think is super important, and one reason why I think we all have chosen ultrasound as a field of interest. And that is in ultrasound, we're always learning. We are always growing and we are always improving. We have continuing educations that we have to do and we have to embrace new challenges. What, every 5 years or so, we have new technology that we're learning, or there's a new board exam that we're going to have to take for some reason or another, right? So continuing to learn and develop is part of our happiness. We need that as humans. And to be able to track our progress and milestones. Oh, look, I took on a new challenge this year to write an article for the STMS website or journal. And guess what? I did it. I set a goal, I got a topic, I got an outline. I looked at other articles. I worked with someone in STMS who was able to help me to improve my writing skills and my article writing skills. That's a huge improvement. So we're going to talk about some advanced concepts in regard to confidence now. And some of those are confidence versus arrogance, right? There's key distinctions between those two. Confidence is kind of an earned thing, whereas arrogance is a really inflated ego, right? True confidence is rooted in competency and humility. It's interesting, I'm in the dating world at this young age of mine, and I think if somebody has to tell me that they're honest or that they're wealthy or that they're anything, right? I really kind of question that. I'm like, why do you feel like you need to tell me that? Like, I don't need to tell you that. You would be able to see that in me, right? Like, I don't, or other people, who are humble but competent in their life skills, right? But if you have to tell me that you're an honest person then I really kind of question or just have a little like, are you really? Why would you have to tell me that? Like, I don't need to tell you that I'm an honest person. You'll just know that I am, right? So, true confidence is competent and humble, and arrogance is an inflated ego. There's also power in assertiveness when you are confident in your skills. So, expressing your needs and your boundaries, communicating confidently and respectfully, saying no when necessary, prioritizing your well being. So, these are all really important. When you're feeling good about yourself, you don't have to be forceful about anything. You can just say, no, thank you. I'm sorry. I'm busy. I have something else I need to do, right? Or you don't have to be forceful. You don't have to be ugly. You can just say, no, thank you. These are my boundaries, right? And so that's being assertive and saying, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to take care of that at this time. Please check back with me, or something of that nature. So being able to be assertive and saying no kindly is really important. Overcoming self-doubt is another advanced skill. So identifying those triggers or those situations where you're like, oh, I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I can do that surgical procedure with the doctor. I don't know if I want to go into surgery. I'm kind of nervous about it. I don't know if I can do that, right? And challenge those. Hey, look, I've done challenging things before. I'm sure I can watch a quick video or I can talk to somebody and they can replace all my doubts with the understanding that it's not as hard as it looks, right? That I can do that. And that is overcoming your self doubt, right? Doing self talk to overcome that. Inspire confidence in others. So once you get a hang of this for yourself, then you want to give it away, right? You lead by example. People will follow you, right? So you demonstrate confidence through your actions, your humble actions. You offer encouragement and support, and you help others and their self-confidence and their self-belief. I was with a fellow professional, and she was not saying kind things about herself, and I'm like, I would disagree with that statement if you don't mind, because what I see from my point of view is someone who's very capable, very confident, humble, but willing to work hard and do whatever it takes to get the job done. And that really helped her turn things around when I'm shared with her like my point of view, like this is my experience with you. It's not this self-defeated, I can't do this job. It's this very confident, humble, willing to work hard and do whatever it takes to get the job done, and a very good ultrasound tech. So it's helpful to get other people's perspective and push back and help them to have their own self-confidence, right? And not inflate their ego, but truly give a genuine compliment and feedback of what great work they've done. I think in ultrasound, we're so hard on ourselves, right? We are constantly looking for the error. We're constantly looking for the millimeter structure that happens in 1 in 1,000 or 10,000 people, right? We're looking for wrong things all the time. We're constantly told, you can do better here, you can do better there. I want this better, I want that better. Oftentimes, we are met with constant improvement that's needed. And I think it's important to recognize that that's what you're up against, right? Well, I can do better. I could do better. Really? Could you? Because I think what you did was pretty damn awesome, right? Like, we need to give ourselves credit where credit is due and not be the martyr, not say, oh, I could have done better. No, you did the best you could at that time. And it was good. It was damn good. right? We need to be able to say that to ourselves without fear of criticism from others. I think we can always, in retrospect, say, oh, yeah, I think I could have done that a little different. But did we get the information? Yes, you did good. You did well. You did very well, right? So I think it's important as we look back over this topic of confidence and building unshakable confidence, that it's important to know that we can step into this, that we show up as this. And it's a choice that we take every day to be our best self. Our morning starts the night before when we have everything laid out and everything ready for the day, for the next day, right? We're going to show up. We're making a plan to show up our best self, our confident selves. And I feel confident when I'm dressed well, when I'm clean, when I'm showered, when I have makeup on, when I have a protein shake in the morning. I feel good. When I've slept well at night, I feel good. I feel more confident. I walk better. I talk better. I present myself better. I can hold space for others more often, and I can hold space for coworkers and patients and managers and physicians, right? We all are carrying our own load of humanness with us. And so when we go into work, especially our line of work of occupations of helping others, right? We're constantly giving, 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 giving. It's important that we take time to fill up our own cup and be able to do that confidently as we move forward through the days that we show up to work. I hope this has been helpful. I hope you've had some takeaways from this. I hope you can start implementing these tactics and these ideas throughout each of your days. This has been a pivotal topic for not only in my own life, but others that I've worked alongside of. And I hope this is helpful to you. Thank you for tuning in to It's All About the Frequency podcast. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Share it with a friend and remember to keep your frequency high.